Well, thank you guys so very much. Ultra Federal Credit Union's here. Thanks for being on the phone bank, you guys. It's the Blood Center of Wisconsin phone bank, and that number is 608-784-KIDS. That's 5437. And we have Sandra, Deacon, and Emerson, our little star today. Good morning, family. Thank you for making the trip from Osseo. Sandra, Osseo, that's a little bit of a drive. Let's hold our mics way up here. There you go.
Yeah,
How was the drive in this morning?
rainy over by us. You guys don't have too much going on right now.
But you came through some rain?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? It's good to see you again. It's been a whole year.
Yeah.
And there's no school today for these guys.
No.
Okay. Okay. You know what? Emerson, we were just deciding maybe what you should do with your day today since there's no school. You have a couple of ideas. What do you think you want to do?
Chuck E. Cheese.
You want to go to Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah,
All right.
and pizza.
And have some pizza. Okay, you need to work on your mom, okay? Because Dad's at work, so this is going to be up to Mom.
Mom. You
Yep.
need to run back home and get all Chuck E. Cheese clothes, and then they can play bowling.
Oh.
Oh, and then you can do some bowling,
Yeah.
too. Okay, well, your day's planned, so
Okay.
there you
And
go.
I like that.
Just in case.
And
You know
like
what?
that.
I know the story, and I know a few of the updates, but if we could just take a minute and share Emerson's story, because it's very special, and if you're okay with that,
Sure.
okay, give us a little history.
All right. So, ultrasound come through and yay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay.
Her ultrasound showed everything normal, and she came out, and apparently she had some issues. She had a heart murmur. She had a cleft palate. They were thinking she had cataracts, which she did confirm she had bilateral cataracts. We got sent home and asked to come back to the hospital, and we went back to the hospital for oxygen check, and the next day the doctor said her heart murmur had changed and sent us to Rochester, and we stayed in Rochester for about a month and a half.
Are you scared? What's going on?
Oh, my Lord. It was very scary. We had Deacon, of course, 3 years earlier than that, and healthy as a horse, so we had no idea that Emerson was coming to us as she did.
You know, I don't know how you could be prepared for that kind of news, but certainly it must have just rocked your world.
It was very overwhelming, and just, yeah, because you're just expecting a healthy baby. And I guess the people that know there's challenges, it's still challenging, but when you're not expecting it, it's mind-blowing.
Emerson seems like she has something to add to the story. What did you have to add to the story?
So, I had a mosquito bite right on my back, and it went all over up here to down here.
Okay. And the mosquito bite, we're referring...
She actually had, a bug bite this summer and ended up with impetigo. But
Okay.
that's
That's okay. That's
completely her story.
Yeah, but we're talking about health-related things,
Yes,
so thank
yep.
you for sharing that. That's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. It's not perfect that you got the bug bite, but it's perfect that you shared that with us.
Yep.
Because that's why we're here. She knows that we're here to talk about her health, and that's part of it.
Yep.
So take us back.
The heart murmur changed. We got to Rochester. They did some testing. We found out she had 2 holes in her heart. One of the walls basically wasn't even formed right. Confirmed the cleft palate, of course, which they could see that. Confirmed the cataracts. She had surgery. She had open heart surgery when she was a little over 2 weeks old, and they repaired her heart. She had an MRI while she was there, and it showed her brain had formed correctly. It just didn't... It wasn't as large as it should have been. It was smaller, so they were concerned about that and just concerned about her development. And as you can see today, we're going to be 7 in 2 weeks, and we're doing pretty good.
We are doing pretty good. It looks like there's some new additions to the hearing aids.
Yeah, she got the hearing aids, I believe, last October. And then this summer, we had kind of talked with the audiologist. They had mentioned about device. Instead of putting headphones over our hearing aids, it can just Bluetooth wirelessly into our hearing aids. So like at school when they're using computer time and stuff, instead of covering that and getting feedback and stuff, she just puts this little thing around her neck, and it just feeds everything right to her ears.
Well, you've been sharing Emerson's story. You know, there's been some calls that have been coming in. We already have 8 pledges in.
What do you say?
Deacon, your eyes got really big. That's really good, isn't it? And we want to thank
Thank
everybody
you.
that's been calling in with their generous donations and their pledges. And we'll get to that in just a little bit, what that all means when people do that, when they listen to your story, honey, and they call in because they're moved to do that. And we'll talk about where their money's going to go in just a little bit. So, again, where we were at the hearing aids. And
Hearing
then
aids?
this is a Bluetooth. Are you techie guys back here listening to this? So her hearing aids now, she has a Bluetooth. So instead of having to wear the headphones, I mean, who thinks of this
Right,
stuff? That's
right.
wonderful technology. Yeah, that is nice. That really helps, doesn't it?
It does. I think it does. She was a little nervous at first doing something different than her friends because all her friends have the little headphones on and stuff. But her friends are great in school and they know it's Emerson and they know sometimes she does things a little different, but that doesn't mean they're not doing them right, right?
Okay, now we have 9. Yeah, that's great. So what's next on the agenda?
Just keeping an eye on her. She
Okay.
she of course had surgery on her eyes. She's blind in her left eye, so she gets vision therapy at school and is learning Braille now. Just because she also does have glaucoma, and we're just kind of preparing for the future a little bit.
Okay.
And just doctors, we just keep doctoring and making sure she's okay, keeping her where she's at.
Emerson, can you tell me about your sparkly shirt that you're wearing today?
It's blue.
It's for the Brewers?
Smile.
It makes you smile. Now, is that a good luck charm for the Brewers? Because I think they're going to need all the luck they can get, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that on your side, I'm sure that's going to help. And we're up to 10. I mean, they are doing an amazing job on the phone bank, taking in amazing calls that are happening. Ultra Federal Credit Union, we are up to 10 right now at 608-784-KIDS, 5437. Some of the help that came your way, you probably weren't expecting. Did you know about Children's Miracle Network hospitals before you really needed some help?
You know, I remember, I think they got donation boxes in areas and stuff, and you always give a couple change when you got it, but until we actually got to the hospital and the social worker sat down and talked to us and told us all the things they actually do, it was just kind of surprising because they help people in so many ways.
So your first contact was the social worker.
Yep.
Okay. Who probably at that point knew your story better than anybody.
Right.
Because they really ask the right questions, and it's amazing the networking that it's involved. So what did you receive?
When she was still in Rochester, we were kind of living over there and trying to get to Deacon, who is still at home with my mother and father-in-law, and driving back and forth, and of course 2 people out of work watching our baby. We did get a check at that time just to kind of help get us through, and meals, and it just kind of overwhelming. You know, you expect to have one parent off of work when you have a baby just to take care of the baby, and you kind of plan for that, but when you got 2 people that aren't working, it's rough, and not being home.
Well, all of a sudden the paychecks aren't there like
Right.
clockwork.
Right.
You know, and I
So-
would imagine bridging gaps is a really important thing.
Right. Yeah. It definitely, I mean, helped us tremendously. We were talking about it in the car today, actually, us 3. So they know how much the Children's Miracle Network helps us and everyone else. I mean, any other child that needs them.
So some of the memories that you guys talked about yesterday, do you remember some of the things that you talked about?
You know, we just kind of talk every once in a while about how important it is to be healthy and just life. My husband and I were just talking please stop. My husband and I were just talking last weekend about just how fortunate we are to even have Emerson. I mean, that first year is kind of a complete blur. There was no sleep, there was no rest, there was just worry, and we're
it
just
is-
thankful.
It's amazing what moms and dads, and we hear a lot because
Right.
they're like you guys are. They come and they share their stories, and the only way that we can figure out what's gone on in your lives if you guys tell us about it.
Right.
And I have seen a common thread through finding a lot out about these families is we just do what we need to do. And normal life is over here, and this now is what we have.
Right.
So when you're talking about a lack of sleep, you know, anybody who brings a newborn home, there's a good chance you're not going to be enjoying your 8 hours of, continuous
Right.
sleep. That's not going to happen. But that's right. That is not going to happen. But when you bring home somebody who you're worried about, because of maybe breathing issues or heart issues. I mean, how did you even leave the house to go grocery shopping? How did all that happen?
She come with us all the time. She would actually come home on a feeding tube. Her schedule was to eat every 3 hours, but we had for an hour and a half. So literally between my husband and I, we were up every hour and a half, 24 hours a day, getting her fed. So
Because the feeding would take an hour and a half.
Yep.
And she needed to eat every 3 hours.
Every 3 hours, yeah.
Was there, how did you know what to feed her? Did they?
They helped us. I mean, we were at that point in time, I think we were seeing the doctors probably 2-3 times a week, driving to Rochester or wherever, and we were with a dietitian, and they would call and tell us what we needed to. I just found a couple months ago, actually, the book I used to keep track. We had to keep track of how many ounces went in, what came out. We had to weigh stuff. I mean, it just, babies are a lot of work, but when you bring home a sick one, it's a lot more.
Well, there's a lot of work going on the phone bank, the Blood Center of Wisconsin phone bank, because we are now up to 12.
Oh.
We are now up to 12, and Ultra is matching it up to $1,000 this
thank
hour.
you so much.
So we need to throw that out there. Thank you, you guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thank
You
you.
know, did you hear that? Say that again.
Thank you.
Did you guys hear that on the phone bank? You're getting a big thank you up here. You're getting a big thank you. And those calls continue to come in at 608-784-KIDS 5437. What about school now? Do you take her to school? She ride the bus? What happens?
She rides the bus every morning with her big brother. Some nights she ends up on the bus to daycare, but doing good. She got released from physical therapy. She got released from occupational therapy. We're still doing speech therapy pretty regularly. I believe almost every day she gets a little speech therapy. And then I don't know if it's once a week or once every 2 weeks the vision therapist comes in.
What happened with her thumb?
She actually had surgery on it. It wasn't when she was a baby. There was a muscle in there or something that wasn't working quite right, so they fixed that. Her bones are fused in different spots, so like I can do that. Ems, can you do that? Show Mom.
Yep.
But she adapts. I mean, it's all she's known, and she does a great job. So we're going to actually orthopedic surgeon in November just to check that out and make sure we're still doing okay with that.
Now, when a little one has surgery on the thumb, how do you keep that area clean? Was she in a cast?
She was in a cast, yep. She was in a cast. I can't even remember for how long, but
That has to be a challenge.
It was, yeah, putting bags over it and washing and...
Well, yeah, just, you don't just take a regular tubby, I wouldn't think, when you have a cast on your hand. But it looks like with that smile and, she's a happy little girl. Aren't you, Emerson? I think she's really excited about doing some fun things today. And we're excited about these phones ringing. At the Blood Center of Wisconsin, 608-784-KIDS 5437. And on board is Ultra Federal Credit Union. Now in 2017, Ultra raised more than $14,000 for CMNH hospitals. We'd like to thank them for that. I think they wanted to be here for you guys today. I think they did.
Thank you.
It's really nice to have a team working together. And, when you talk about some of the teams working together here and with some of the families that have told us, it kind of started with a social worker, but then we have Heather and we have Rena. It's like you feel part of the team.
Oh, yeah. When we contacted them even about the hearing device, it just... Everyone is wonderful. You can talk to one person, and if they don't know the answer, they're getting you to the next person, and immediately they get back to you, and they have a nice way of doing it. You have to fill out an application. There has to be like a doctor's note. It's not like they're just donating people's money. They're actually looking at what needs to be done. And
well, it goes through the steering committee.
Right.
And it's made up of a lot of caring people, and they have some decisions to make. We're up to 13. We're up to 13. Let's hear it for 13 calls coming in this morning at 608-784-KIDS 5437. A lot of folks calling in this morning. Emerson, you have a big fan club, honey. Yes, you do. Do you know what a fan club is? That's people that really are excited that you're here today. Oh, and we're looking for 15. So what was our count? So we were at, we're going to do the math over here. Okay, so we were at 13. Okay, we want to get to 15, so let's do the math. How many more do we need to get to 15? Emerson, can you tell me?
13. So what's after 13?
14, 15.
And so how many would that be? How many more calls? We need 2 more calls. Doing the math, even though there's no school today.
Right.
We're doing the math.
I know some more math.
Okay, tell me some more. Put the mic right up to your...
Yeah.
Tell me some more math.
So, 1 plus 11 equals 12.
1 plus 11 equals 12. Yes, it does. Okay, so now we want 15 calls, and we're at 14. So how many calls? I guess we don't need any more. We got them. We made it to 15. Congratulations. Your family is wonderful. I just want to...
Yes, it is.
Isn't that exciting? That is so exciting. Thank you for making a trip in this morning.
Thanks for having us. We
You know,
enjoy
because
it every
we-
year.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, honey, you are so
Well,
welcome.
Willis.
You know what? Do you want to thank everybody who called in and made a pledge?
Thank you.
There you go. You heard it from
going.
you heard it from Emerson. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy your day today. We appreciate you. Glad you're part of the family. You're listening to the Children's Miracle Network Hospital Radiothon, a service of the La Crosse Media Group.
Thank you, Joni. We appreciate it.